First of all, can I ask you, Tommy, whether you think that having the vaccine should be a personal choice for your own body?
Absolutely. Everything should be a personal choice. Mark, we're living our life. I'm living my life. Everything I do should be up to me. Of course, we should have a social conscience and we should be aware of what decisions we make and the impacts they have on society and, of course, spreading stuff. But there's just so much information, Mark. This channel, all the channels, all the news, all social media is confusing, it's contradictory, it baffles me. I don't know how you manage to kind of wade your way through it all. But at the moment, I think it should just come down to... I've always been an instinct person. I don't know about you, Mark. I go by my instinct. I think, right, I've had the 2 jabs. I haven't gone for the 3rd. I didn't do the trilogy. I went with the 2. It's like Matrix. Same with Matrix. Didn't do number 3. Did 1 and 2 and stopped there. I got my fix. And so in that same respect, I think you should go with how you feel and then ride the consequences of that. So absolutely your choice.
And why haven't you gone for that 3rd sequel? I mean, I don't want to intrude on a private matter, Tommy, because, you know, you've got absolutely no accountability here. Your body, your choice. But do you care to tell me what might have motivated that decision so far?
Over the last few months, I've not really worn a mask that much. I've gone about my business pretty much as I would do had there been no COVID scare at all, and I feel fine. I've been out exercising, I've been in supermarkets, I've been doing comedy shows when the venues have been open, and I feel fine. There's been nothing. I've not hidden away from anything, and I feel fine. So
now I can see John Gaunt brimming with opinion, but let me ask you, Jasmine, first of all, your thoughts about that particular encounter between the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, and a consultant anaesthetist who I think he sort of talked to this medic as though he was some kind of ill-informed taxi driver.
Yeah, absolutely. I agreed with everything you said because, you know, there was somebody who's there. He's on the front line. He knows a lot. And, you know, as he says, and as there were Israeli research has found that natural immunity is better than any other type of immunity. So he knows what he's talking about. And it was quite extraordinary that Saeed Javid just basically brushed him off. It's like, oh, yeah, we talked to specialists. And, you know, basically the real scientists are always arguing. You can't say, oh, this is the science. And we've had this for 2 years now. You've got to follow the science. Which science? Which science? We've got to have the humility to discuss it. And what I really don't like, and haven't liked over the last 2 years, is that we haven't been allowed to discuss it. Nobody with an opposing opinion to the narrative, you know, the established narrative, is allowed to speak. They are absolutely thrown off everything. They're thrown off Twitter. They're thrown off all types of social media, Wikipedia. They're completely cancelled. That, I think, is very, very wrong.
Gaunty, over to you, sir.
Is there a question, or do you just want me to answer?
Well, I mean, what do you think?
Just to reply to the nonsense they've both come out with?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, what do you make of Tommy's decision as of this moment in time not to have the booster jab?
You said Tommy's a comedian. I think he's a joker. It's OK to get your natural immunity, Tommy, if you survive. So good luck to you. I think you're irresponsible. I know you're a father of children. You should have the 3rd jab. You've had the first 2. Moving on from there. Coming to the science that Jasmine was talking about, it is confusing, and I'm no supporter of Boris Johnson and this government. They've shot themselves in about 5 different feet all the way through it. They've been useless at giving out the right messages. However, the vaccination programme has been a success. It has reduced transmission. It has reduced deaths. That can't be denied. Now, this latest variation, thank God, or thank whoever is your God, looks like it's not going to be that dangerous, which is great news. And it may actually be our way out of it by giving us herd immunity. Yeah. But as for you, Mark, saying that Sajid Javid just dismissed this doctor an anaesthetist, obviously knows what he's talking about. He's entitled to his opinion, but it's one opinion amongst thousands of other anaesthetists and doctors who aren't agreeing with him. So, and I think as a doctor, the first rule is do no harm. So he should have been careful about saying that in front of the cameras, because people, and they already have on Twitter, not you, Mark, I know, but other people interpret that as if everything else that they've been told is rubbish. And that's what's wrong with this whole debate. We're in our bunkers. I was a Brexiteer. I know you wasn't, right? So you and I could lob bricks at each other, Remainers, Ramonas, whatever we want to call ourselves. And although I thought Brexit was really important, it wasn't a matter of life or death. This could be, not necessarily this variant. So I think we've got to come out of our bunkers and start jaw rather than war. And I don't want to take over all your time, but I've got a lot to say on Nigel Farage if you want me to go on to that.
Well, listen, there's no censorship on this show, so tell me your thoughts about Nigel's encounter with the Djokovic family.
He's a hypocrite. I know Nigel really well. I probably know him better than anybody else on this programme tonight. I was in UKIP, did a lot of work with him. I actually introduced him to social media for my sins. Right?
It's your fault.
Pardon?
You're responsible.
I'm responsible.
And God bless you
I'm
for
responsible for the fact he's got over 1 million people. No, I'm not. But I showed him Twitter when it was first started. Anyway, Nigel Farage wants to protect our borders, believes, like me, we should be able to control who comes into our country and choose them. Like me, believes that we need to get in charge of what's happening in Dover. Just like me. Then he turns around and talks about Mr. Novak's, the tennis player, and suddenly becomes his saviour, his champion. Total hypocrisy. If we want to control our borders and be a sovereign state, Australia have the same right. And you, Mark, you were quoting things like that he's under house arrest or whatever it is. No, he's not. He's free to go whenever he wants. You also, Mark, quoted the thing about he's had a positive test or whatever you said it was.
That's right, yes.
Right?
We understand that he got COVID in December of last year.
Well, that's a separate thing. There's two things. He's got two stories. One's he's had the test and one is that he's had the COVID. Now, I don't know, just like you don't know. Conveniently, it seems to me, he's now saying he had COVID on December the 16th. Major newspapers have gotten pictures with him at an awards ceremony on the 17th, or the day after, giving out awards to young children. How could he have done that if he had COVID? So I would suggest, and I may be wrong, and I've got no more evidence than you. Well, actually, I have, because I've got the photos in the papers. I would suggest he may be telling a fib. But you're taking it as gospel, because it fits your narrative, and it fits Nigel's narrative. So I'm saying again, jaw, not war. Let's take the heat out of the argument, and let's all be a bit more grown up about it.